Good afternoon, everyone. This Sunday we celebrate the feast day of the Epiphany. Epiphaneia in Greek means manifestation. It's the moment in which, as we heard in our gospel, the Magi from the east come and place their gifts before the Christ child. And for the first time, the Savior is known to the world. The Magi represent non-Jewish lands, non-Jewish peoples, whereas the shepherds who have already seen the Christ child represent Israel. This manifestation of God is in fulfillment to his rescue mission, if you will, his salvation. You see, after the fall of Adam and Eve, God put a rescue plan together, rescuing us from sin and death. And he carried out this plan in this particular way. He was able to gather together one people, the people of Israel, to kind of make this nation his own particular people, giving the nation of Israel his law, his spirit, entering into covenant with this one group of people, so as to prepare them for the coming of the Messiah, with the hope that they would receive the Messiah and then the entire nation of Israel become a light to the nations, a beacon for all the nations then to be gathered into one family, one nation, if you will, under God. The prophet Isaiah, we heard in our first reading, say, "Rise up, Jerusalem, your light has come. Upon you the Lord shines. Nations shall walk by your light." Indeed, this is also what we hear from St. Paul in our second reading, where he says, now that Christ has been revealed to us, all nations, including the Gentiles, are co-heirs with the Jews in the promise, in the covenant, in salvation. This is the manifestation that's being proclaimed to us this day on the Epiphany. And it's really a beautiful, beautiful feast day. We have here in the sanctuary a painting called The Adoration of the Magi that celebrates the Epiphany. It's done by the same artist that did the paintings here in the sanctuary, Dana Van Horn. And you will notice here in this painting the Magi coming to adore the Christ child, kneeling before him and placing their gifts. Now these Magi are a real challenge to us. They are. They say to us in a certain sense, where are your priorities and my priorities? Is our mind and heart, is our vision focused on Christ? Are we following all the signs like they did the star to find him and to make him the most important person in my life? Or do other things, the gold and frankincense and myrrh of this world, are those things more important to us? Do we want to hang on to them and not offer them to the Christ child? To what are we paying attention to? Is it the things of this world? Or is it the Christ child? In our gospel, St. Matthew juxtaposes a man like Herod with men like the Magi. Herod, you see, was focused on something. It wasn't God. He was focused on his own personal, political salvation. He wanted to survive and continue to hang on to his power and his prestige. He did so through threats, corruption, and we even know historically that Herod murdered a number of his children because he perceived in them a threat to his own throne. Historians remind us that Herod was nothing but a puppet of the Roman emperor, but Herod wanted to hang on to every one of those strings. He wanted that power. He was, in kind of colloquial terms, simply looking at himself, kind of looking at your own navel gazing, right? Me. It's all about me. It's all about what I can do. Yet St. Matthew kind of sets up a contrast, if you will, between him and his vision and his understanding of life with that of the Magi. These Gentiles, non-Jews, these foreigners, men from the east, who traveled from Persia over 1,000 miles following a star that announced to them the newborn king had been born. These men are not looking for their own political salvation. They're not looking to the rich and famous. They have their eyes fixed on the night sky, away from themselves. They're looking beyond themselves in order to find true happiness and true salvation. Their lives are not all about self, power, advancement, but on finding the newborn King of the Jews and laying their riches before him. They're very different than Herod. They're truly wise because their eyes are not fixed on the passing things of this world, but on what is most true and good in this world. They're men who are willing to leave behind those things that are values to them, their family, their friends, their land, and they bring their wealth in order to place it before God's feet. They're truly detached, service-oriented, humble, and they recognize that the star is announcing a miracle, the miracle of the coming of our Savior. Now, as I said to you, these wise men, these Magi, are a real challenge to us. They should help us examine our own conscience. Once again, if you look at this beautiful painting of the Adoration of the Magi, you will notice that there is a light, a source of light in the painting. But it's not coming from the star. If you want to, after Mass, you can come up and take a look. But you see, there is a star in the painting. It's very, very small and far in the background. Yet, in the stable, there is a light, and it's illuminating all the figures that are there. Mary and Joseph and the Magi and some of the shepherds that are there. Do you notice where that light is coming from? It's from Christ himself. It's from the baby. The baby is the source of light in this manger scene. The Magi knew that. They knew that only God could be the source of true light and happiness. And our vision has to be focused on him, not on things of this world, which in and of themselves are not bad. But if they take priority, we're looking at the wrong light. There's so much in this world to distract our attention. I need this. I should do that. I think that this is really what's important in my life. But the challenge from the Magi are you first and foremost adoring Christ? Do we seek his will above all? Do we want a relationship with God and with his church and make that the most important relationship upon which all of our other relationships, including marriage and family, is built? It's easy to immerse ourselves in the things of this world, in our success, in power, in riches. If we have given in to that worldliness, now is the time to turn around and follow those stars in our life that bring us to the true light. Feel the pull of that star, whatever it might be, whatever grace God is giving you, feel that pull and follow it. Follow it to adore Christ. There are many people that experience success and that have immersed themselves into the story and the things of this world. The Magi, however, challenge us to think beyond ourselves, to look up in the night sky, to follow the grace that God puts into our life day in and day out until we find Christ. Christ, who is truly the light in our life. Once we find him, once he is our priority in life, then we will have true happiness.